Wondering about light energy. One evening, you lie in bed reading for a while by the light of a lamp. When you want to sleep, you flip the switch and the room is dark. Or is it? You notice the glowing numbers on the alarm clock. You see the glow from the street lamp post out the window. And look, those lights that your game system is plugged those lights show that your game system is plugged in. Light is an important part of almost everything in our life. Even when we think all the lights are off, we use light without even thinking about it.
When you walk into a dark room, the first thing you probably do is turn on the lights. Light from light bulbs enables us to see indoors. No matter where you are, without light, we cannot see. Have you ever thought about how important light is? What are some of the ways we use light? What exactly is light? And where does light come from? During the next few minutes, we're going to answer these questions as we explore light. If you've ever tried to take a walk on a very dark night, you know that it's difficult to find your way. This is because at night there is very little light. During the day, you see things due to the presence of light. You decide what part of your body detects light. That's right, your eyes detect light. The human eye is designed to detect light and the many different colors of light. When our eyes are shut, light cannot enter and we cannot see things. We take for granted that at night it gets dark, and in the morning it becomes light. What causes the light of day? The sun is the object in space that provides Earth with light. As Earth rotates on its axis during a 24-hour period, we spin toward and then away from the sun. This causes us to experience the light of day and the darkness of night. So, as you can see, the sun provides us with light every day. The moon can also be a source of light at night, but it provides much less light than the sun. And the moon does not produce its own light, but reflects light from the sun. You observe. Is this fire giving off light? Yes, it is. Some things, such as fire flares and glowing objects, also produce light. In buildings, electricity powers light bulbs that produce light. Batteries also power useful things, such as flashlights that produce light. These are just a few of the many different ways that light is produced around us.
So remember when they're saying that light is produced, they're really saying that energy is transferred from one form of energy to light energy. So we talked about chemicals in batteries and how that's a type of energy. Chemical energy turns into light energy when the battery um, helps produce light. That's actually the transfer of energy. We use light to see, right? Well, sort of. Light has energy, and we actually use light energy to see. Long ago, people were limited to use light energy from sunlight and fires. That was the only kind of light they had. Today, we also use lights that run on electricity. Light bulbs change electrical energy to the light energy that we use to see. Other technologies use light energy too. Lasers and fiber optic cables use light energy to carry television programming and link computers to the internet. The most important use of light energy isn't for technologies. It isn't even for seeing. It's for keeping living things alive. Life as we know it on Earth would not exist without energy from sunlight. In this concept, you'll learn more about the importance of light energy. You'll discover how light travels and how it transfers energy from place to place. You'll also investigate the basic properties of light.
We already discussed how light from the sun enables us to see in daytime. But the sun provides living things on Earth more than just a means to see. Did you know that plants use the sun's light energy to make their food? When we eat plants, such as carrots and apples, we benefit from the food produced by these plants. You observe. How does the driver see the road at night? The car has headlights, so the driver can see the road. In some cases, light is used to illuminate things such as these water fountains. In other cases, light tells us how to act. And some lights create beautiful sights for us to enjoy.
Other waves you will use today come from the sun. We get many different kinds of waves from the sun, but they all have one thing in common. They carry some of the sun's energy to us. Energy in these waves is very useful. The best known of the sun's waves are visible light waves. We call visible light waves from the sun sunlight. Plants use sunlight to make food and grow. Of course, sunlight also makes things bright and helps us see. The energy in visible light waves stimulates nerves in our eyes. These nerves send signals to our brain, allowing us to see the world. Visible light waves are so important, we even make our own with light bulbs. Waves from the sun come in all lengths. Different wavelengths do very different things. The sun's shortest waves, gamma rays, are shorter than an atom. Gamma rays can be deadly to us, but most are blocked by Earth's atmosphere. Slightly longer are X-rays. X-rays also get blocked by our atmosphere. But we make X-rays for dentists and doctors to use to see details in bones and teeth. Visible light has longer waves, but they are still so short, thousands would fit into the thickness of a hair. The next longest group of waves is called infrared. We cannot see infrared waves, but we can feel some of them as heat. Energy in some infrared waves from the sun warm our skin, as do infrared waves from a fireplace. The longest of the sun's energy waves have wavelengths of many kilometers. We make lots of our own long waves to use for electronic communication in TV, radio, and cell phones. Tall towers send out the waves, which are much stronger than those we get from the sun. Inside our electronic gadgets, sensors pick up the waves like nerves in our eyes pick up visible light. Additional electronics act like a brain to make sense of the waves and turn them into sounds and pictures. So waves are all around us in the air. Many come from the sun, and we make others. We can hear, see, and feel only a few of them. But seen or unseen, felt or not, we use these waves every day.
I bet most of you didn't know that light energy is actually waves that you can't see. They're invisible waves. I think that's pretty cool to know that there are different invisible things going on all around us that help us be able to perceive life the way we do. We wouldn't be able to hear or see things if these waves didn't exist. Look at the pictures below. Select the pictures that show sources of light. Be careful. Remember that a source of light is not something that reflects light. It's something that gives off its own light. So if we're looking at the sun, does that give off its own light? Absolutely. That one's pretty simple. What about this flame? Does that give off its own light? Yes, it does. We've talked about how fire in the fireplaces do. So fire on a candle would also give off its own light. What about a window? A window has light. Is it giving off its own light, or is it reflecting light through the window? That's right. It's reflecting light through the window. It's not actually producing its own light, so that one's not a source of light. What about this flashlight? Yeah, it's giving off its own light. They take the energy from the batteries in the flashlight, the chemical energy, and it transfers into electric energy that goes through the wires and lights the light, just like the electricity we talked about last week. So a flashlight is a source of light. What about a camera? A camera takes light and it goes through the lens and then it stores it on the film, but it doesn't actually produce the light. It just takes the light in. What about a paintbrush? That's right, a paintbrush doesn't have any light. There's no light showing on it, so it doesn't produce light. What about a light in a light fixture? Yes, it does, because it's from a light bulb, which means that it is man-made light, but it is light. Now, what about the moon? They've talked about the moon a little bit. Does the moon produce light? Is it a source of light? It's a tricky question because when you look in the sky, you can see the moon. So is it actually lit up? Yeah, if you remember from when we talked about the moon phases, the moon is actually just reflecting light from the sun. So it's not actually producing the light. It's just showing the light that we saw from the